5 years ago, you thought $124,000 a year would solve this. You thought the anxiety would leave. You thought the checking app would stop feeling like a medical test. This morning, a credit card reminder made your chest drop anyway. Nothing was late, nothing was wrong, and that was the problem. 6:12 a.m., Tuesday. The apartment is quiet enough to hear the ice maker reset. The coffee machine clicks off. Blue-gray morning sits over the skyline outside the kitchen window. White counters, clean sink, stainless steel fridge. The kind of apartment people send to each other with one message. You made it. Your salary is a little over $124,000. Then your phone lights up. Credit card payment due. That is all it says. And before you even pick it up, your chest drops. Not because the bill is late, not because the account is empty, not because anything is wrong. Your body just gets there first. Age 24. Friday, 4:47 p.m. You are standing in the office bathroom with one foot holding the stall door closed, refreshing your bank app before the paycheck clears all the way. $46,000 a year. After taxes, it looks smaller than it sounded in the offer letter. You stare at the number until the screen dims. In your head, the math is simple. At this salary, peace must live somewhere around 70. When you walk back onto the floor, Dylan is leaning over the low wall between your desks, tie loose, sleeves rolled, grinning like the weekend already belongs to him. Dylan started 2 weeks after you, same age, same department, same salary. He spins his keys once and says, "First real paycheck, you know what that means?" You drop into your chair. "Rent?" Dylan laughs. "No, it means I'm done looking broke." That night, he posts a photo from a dealership, black interior, red dashboard lights, caption, "Adult life starts now." You look at it too long, not because you want his car, because you want what you think the car means. A year later, you make more, then more again. 72, 91, 6 figures. Every raise feels like rescue for about 8 days. The first night, you order takeout without checking the total. The second week, you walk a little taller through the lobby. By the end of the month, the number has already been absorbed into normal life. That is how it happens. Not in one bad decision, not in one reckless year. Quietly, a better apartment because you're tired of hearing your upstairs neighbor at 2 a.m. A newer phone because the old one won't hold charge through a workday. Delivery apps because some Tuesdays are too tired for cooking. A gym close enough that you might actually go. A cleaner building, a nicer mattress, a few subscriptions that barely count alone and somehow count a lot together. Nothing feels stupid. That is why it works. Income rises where people can see it. Costs rise where nobody does. Monday. Office parking garage. 8:16 a.m. Dylan is standing beside a dark blue BMW with a coffee in one hand and his badge in the other. He sees you looking. "Lease," he says, "basically free." You laugh. That's not what free means. He shrugs. "If we're going to work like this, it should look like something." He says it lightly. That is what makes it stick. You ride the elevator up with his sentence still in your head. It should look like something. That week, your rent auto drafts, then the internet, then the car insurance, then the card payment, then the groceries you forgot to categorize, then the dinner that was supposed to be small and wasn't. On Thursday night, your phone lights up 6 times in 90 minutes. None of the charges are catastrophic. Still, your shoulders tighten every time. Thursday lunch, break room. 12:11 p.m. Marisol is heating soup in the microwave. She works in payroll, 58. Silver hoop earrings. Navy cardigan in every season. She drives a dented Camry and always seems less rushed than everyone making twice her salary. You are staring at your phone again when she sits across from you. "Direct deposit problem?" she asks. "No." She opens a packet of crackers. "Then why do you look like that every time money moves?" You laugh because there is no good answer. "I thought making more would fix this." Marisol nods like she has heard that sentence before. Then she says very calmly, "Income decorates a life. Margin protects it." You smile. "That sounds like something you tell everyone." "I do," she says. Almost nobody listens. The microwave beeps. She gets up, takes her soup, and leaves you with the sentence, Income decorates a life. Margin protects it. At the time, it sounds smart. Not personal. Not yet. Age 28. Saturday night, 8:43 p.m. You and Claire are splitting noodles at a restaurant where the tables are too close together and the check arrives in a black folder, heavy enough to feel official. Claire is telling you about a patient from her shift when the server drops the bill. You stop hearing the story for a second. Not long. Just long enough. Claire notices. On the sidewalk outside, under a flickering green pharmacy sign, she asks, "Can I ask you something?" You nod. "Why do you look scared every time a normal bill shows up?" You start to answer too fast. "I'm not scared." Claire adjusts the strap of her bag and looks at you with that terrible kind of kindness that makes lying feel childish. "You are," she says. "You just recover quickly." You tell her it is nothing. You say work has been a lot. You say everybody thinks about money. You say you are fine, but on the drive home, you know she is right. The fear is not dramatic anymore. It is cleaner than that, more rehearsed, a quiet brace. Age 29, Friday afternoon. Dylan gets the same promotion you do, same salary band, same annual bonus, same congratulatory email from a manager who still forgets both your birthdays. By Sunday, Dylan has toured a new high-rise apartment and sent you photos of the rooftop pool. Monday, he drops into your desk chair backward and says, "Come see this place with me after work." You go. 23rd floor, glass balcony, under cabinet lighting, cold lemon water in the lobby. The leasing agent says luxury 6 times in 11 minutes. Dylan stands in the empty living room with his hands on his hips. Tell me this doesn't feel like winning. You look out at the city. It does feel like winning. That is the problem. On the elevator down, Dylan says, "You're next. You can't keep living like you're about to get evicted." He means it as a joke. You don't laugh, because he has accidentally described the feeling exactly. That night you lie in bed with your phone 6 inches from your face, running a private calculation you have done 100 times. How many months if work goes bad? How many months if the car dies? How many months if the next phone call is the phone call? You make good money now. That is what makes the question humiliating. You should not still feel this exposed. And yet the feeling remains. Not poverty exactly. Something stranger. The sense that your life looks solid from the street and thin from the inside. Tuesday. Mechanic's office. 3:18 p.m. Bad fluorescent light. Burnt coffee smell. A muted weather report playing above the waiting chairs. The mechanic wipes his hands on a red rag and says, "Front brakes, battery, belt, 862. He says it in the same tone people use to announce the score of a game. For years, a number like that would have changed the emotional temperature of your whole week. You would have felt it in your throat first, then your sleep. Then the way you talk to everybody for 2 days. You wait for that familiar wave to hit. It does not. You blink once. "Okay," you say. The mechanic looks surprised by how quickly you answered. "You want us to do it?" "Yes." That is it. No spiral, no mental triage, no silent negotiation about what else now has to bleed. You pay, take the receipt, get in the car, and sit there with both hands on the wheel. Something is missing, not money, panic. Halfway home, you realize you have been waiting for fear the way people wait for thunder after lightning, and it never comes. 2 weeks later, a dental bill lands on the kitchen counter, then a travel issue, then a family expense. Then an apartment repair. Each one used to arrive with a hidden blade inside it. Now they arrive and land. Costly, annoying, real, but they land. One night, Claire is cross-legged on the couch eating cereal out of a mug while you open a statement at the coffee table. You read it, pay it, set your phone down. Claire looks up. That was fast. You shrug. It's just the copay. She studies your face. Then she says, "You didn't pace." "What?" "Usually after a bill you walk around the apartment like you left the stove on." You look at her. She is right again. You did not pace. The room stayed the same temperature. That has never happened before. So now the question changes. Not, how much do I make? What changed? Thursday, rain against the windows. 11:38 p.m., laptop open, living room lamp on, Claire asleep down the hall. You log into every account you have: checking, savings, brokerage, retirement, emergency fund. You add them once, then again, then slower. For years, salary was the number that mattered most in your head, because salary was the number that looked impressive out loud. This feels different. Salary moves. It comes in and goes out. It depends on next month behaving. It depends on a boss, a quarter, a company, a body that can keep producing. This other number does not feel impressive. It feels thick. Money sitting still. Money reachable. Money that can take a hit now. And suddenly Marisol's sentence returns, not as advice, but as evidence. Income decorates a life. Margin protects it. You sit back in the chair and realize you have spent years trying to outrun a feeling that was never about lifestyle in the first place. It was about absorbency. Whether life had anywhere for bad news to land. Friday, elevator lobby, 8:57 a.m. Marisol is waiting with her canvas lunch bag. Before the elevator arrives, you say, "I think I finally understood what you meant." She looks amused. "That took a while." You smile. "The car needed work last week. I paid it, and nothing happened." "Something happened," she says. The elevator opens. Nobody gets out. She steps in, turns, and adds, "Your life got thicker." The doors close before you can answer. Your life got thicker. That is the line that stays. Age 32, Monday, 7:41 a.m. The office feels wrong before anyone says why. Slack is too quiet. Managers are in glass rooms with the blinds tilted. A rumor moves across the floor without ever becoming a sentence. By 9:10, Dylan texts you, "Stairwell, now." You find him 2 floors down, standing beside the fire door with his tie loosened and both hands in his hair. He looks like he has been running, even though he is standing still. "You hear anything?" he asks. "No." He exhales hard. "If they cut us, I'm cooked." The words hang there. You look at him. Same salary, same promotions, same building, same age, not same life. Dylan gives a short laugh that is too tired to be real. "I know how that sounds," he says. "But between the rent, the car, the cards, I'm serious, man. I've got maybe 3 weeks." For a second, neither of you speaks. Then he looks at you more carefully. You're weirdly calm. You want to deny it. Instead, you tell the truth. "I'm not calm," you say. "I'm just not finished if something goes wrong." Dylan stares at the cinder block wall. "I make what you make." "I know." He nods once, slow. That is the first time the difference becomes visible. Not as status, as survivability. That evening the rumor dies. Nobody gets laid off, but the stairwell stays with you. Because Dylan was not irresponsible in any cartoonish way. He just kept spending in the places where success was supposed to become visible. The nicer apartment, the nicer lease, the polished dinners, the things that made the life look correct. He bought relief in public. You had started slowly, accidentally, buying resilience in private. That was the split. Not intelligence, not virtue, not luck, direction, Sunday. 6:26 p.m. Claire is chopping scallions at the counter while you rinse rice. The apartment smells like garlic and sesame oil. You tell her about Dylan. She stops cutting for a second. Then she says, "Can I tell you what I think?" "Always." She sets the knife down. "I don't think you were ever trying to feel rich," she says. "I think you were trying not to feel breakable." You dry your hands slowly, because that is it. That is cleaner than all the language you've been using. Not impressive, not successful, not ahead, unbreakable enough to exhale. Claire goes back to cutting scallions, like she did not just summarize 3 years of private fear in one sentence. Later that night, alone in the living room, you let yourself follow the thought all the way through. What if work really does go bad? What if the company changes? What if the next call is the call? Okay. Then what? Rent still gets paid. Food still gets bought. Insurance carries for a while. The car still gets fixed. The lights stay on. You would not like it. But you would survive it. And when that lands, not just in your head but all the way through your body, something releases. Not dramatically. The room does not brighten, the music does not swell, the future does not turn golden, the fear just loses its old authority. That is the threshold, the exact moment a setback stops feeling like a personal extinction event. After that, the changes are small enough that nobody else would call them changes. You taste your food more often. You stop opening your banking app 12 times a week just to ask the same question in different clothing. Are we okay? Are we okay? Are we okay? You still check. You still care. You are not reckless now. You are just no longer taking your pulse through your finances. At dinner, somebody else orders the expensive thing, and it means nothing about your life. At the grocery store, a total can be annoying without becoming symbolic. A weird sound in the car is just a weird sound in the car. Comparison weakens when fear no longer needs it. That is the irony nobody advertises. Abundance does not feel like fireworks. It feels ordinary. It feels like having enough room inside your finances for your actual personality to come back. 6:12 a.m., Tuesday. Same kitchen, same white counters, same skyline, same coffee machine clicking off. Your phone lights up again. Credit card payment due. Claire is at the sink this time, rinsing a spoon. You look down. Read it. Open the app. Schedule the payment. Set the phone back on the counter. No drop in the chest, no shame, no old static under the skin, just information. Claire turns, sees your face, and smiles a little. There, she says. You look at her. There what? That look, she says. It's gone. She goes back to the sink, and in the quiet that follows, the final truth comes into focus. You were never trying to stop looking poor. You were trying to stop feeling vulnerable. That was the wound. Not status, not the old apartment, not the years of smaller paychecks, not the memory of saying no. Vulnerability. The feeling that one piece of bad news could drag your whole life into a smaller room. So many people spend years increasing income and waiting for that feeling to disappear on its own. Sometimes it never does, because income can change the scenery while vulnerability stays exactly where it was. What changes a life is distance. Distance from panic, distance from bad luck, distance from the version of you who used to believe every notification might be the beginning of a fall. The phone goes dark, the coffee has gone warm, morning settles fully over the city, and one last realization stays behind. Simple, easy to miss, true enough to keep. Most people were never chasing richness. They were chasing the first moment life felt survivable. And when that moment finally comes, it does not look like luxury. It looks like peace.